What's going on? TonyTeflon the Don here to bring you a Game of Thrones Season 3, Episode 3 review. This episode is called Walk of Punishment. I'm doing this right now on my camera phone just to do it, to see what it looks like. So if it doesn't come out good, we'll go back to the other one. And if it does, then we just stick to this. First, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who's subscribed. I appreciate it. You know, it's like I said before, I don't get a lot. I get a couple here and there. And everyone I get is, I really do appreciate it and stuff like this. I also do this very early in the morning, so if I look tired, it's because I just woke up and everything else, and I probably should have freshened up a little bit, but I'm pretty fresh anyway. So besides that, let me get to this episode. This episode, a lot happened, but not a lot to talk about, and a lot of character building, a lot of working on what they did before, building on that in this episode. To me, I thought that they wasted a lot of time with little things that they could have put more time into bigger stories. I didn't really need to see the Arya hot pie drag out. You know, I'm a Stannis guy, as you know, but this little scene, if you're going to give them that little... I don't know if you really need to do it maybe right in the beginning of the episode and just let it go. I don't know. They could have probably waited, did that scene and whatever's next with Melisandre, waited and put that together in one episode and built that instead of just doing the quick little thing with Stannis and stuff. Stannis doesn't get any respects. But I will say that, no spoiler here, but he doesn't do a lot in the books either at this point. So just the fact they're giving him something is kind of... just to keep his character going is good anyway. So that's how I feel about that. But overall, I thought it was a really good episode. We talk about Mance Rayder. So now you see Mance Rayder in this episode. He's finally revealing his plan, how he plans on taking the wall. He's going to send his boys over the wall, take Jon Snow with him. And he, as you see, he doesn't trust Jon. He says if Jon messes up, just to throw him over the wall, which is smart on his behalf, not just that, oh, this guy just comes over here, yep, you're down with me, blah blah. The man saying like that. So that was good. That's gonna be good and stuff like that. It seems like it's going there. You see, because you know that the wall is long. It's really long, and there's Castle Black, and there's a bunch of other castles that garrison the wall, but the Night's Watch is depleted, and all those castles are empty. So they can go. They don't have to go over right where Castle Black is. They can go over by any other and come over and jump onto those castles which are empty, and then make their way over. And so they said the wildlings go over the wall all the time. Obviously, you've seen the ones who've gotten caught by the Starks. They were over the wall, and they got there. So obviously, this is nothing new going over the wall. So basically, that's what goes on there. Jon, there wasn't too much really going on with Jon but that. And you see him a little bit with Ygritte. And that's basically what happened there. Arya, just like I said, not a lot going on there with Arya, but hot pie's out. I don't really care about hot pie too much, me personally. His fat ass can go, and he didn't do anything anyway, so he's out of there. Hot pie, that's the end of him. So, but you know, she talks to the Hound a little bit, asks him if he remembers something. Not too much going on there with Arya this week. That's something that they probably could have left the whole Arya stuff out this week and focused on something else and got back to Arya later. But they love Arya, and it seems like Arya, Tyrion, and have been, you know, they try to do them. Well, Tyrion's in every episode, because if you look at it, if you really think about it, probably, you know, if you took all the parts for people in this show, they probably have an episode apiece. And so I would just think that some way they could just stop trying to force everybody in all these episodes. Even though the episode, I will say, moved good. It was pretty fast paced and stuff. So it wasn't bad like that. So with Robb, which probably was the most significant part, well, next to Jaime and Brienne in there, you see him if he meets his Tully side of his family. I like the way they got the armor with the scales on it and stuff for the fish. You meet Blackfish, and you meet Cat's younger brother, who you can see as he's shooting arrows, just a fuck up. And obviously he fucks up again because he just charges into battle and messes up Robb's plan. Just like Robb said, just like the Hound would do, because the Hound's a dog, and he's trying to explain to him, you're acting like a dog. You're acting like someone who has no sense. And if you'd have just listened and did what I did what I told you to do, we would have had this dude head chopped off a long time ago, and we would have eliminated him. Now we got some stupid hostages that no one's really going to care about, that you're over here trying to brag to me about. And I'm not going for it. And then, Blackfish tell him that's your king. And talk to him as such. So that's basically what goes on there. You meet them, and you see that how, I think his name's Edmure or something like that. He's the guy who played Brutus in Rome. It's good to me to see these Rome characters in there, because Rome was my favorite show of all time. Probably is next until Game of Thrones came out. Maybe still, for the show, I may still like Rome a little bit better. I like the books better than the story of Rome, but the show of Rome is still phenomenal. And if you've never seen it, then you're crazy. You need to go see that. Get that, Rome, for real. Because a lot of that's going on here. And a lot of Spartacus and a lot of Camelot and all those shows, they all took from Rome. And that's the bottom line. Stannis, my man Stannis, you see him over there. He's looking frail. He's looking weak. Melisandre's telling him he's weak. He wants to make another baby. She can't do it because she's weak. But she tells him, I need some king's blood. And he's like, I got king's blood. And she's like, yeah, but there's other people that got king's blood too. That's not you. Other Baratheons. Now, is she talking about Joffrey and Melisandre? Did she think that they're true Baratheons? I doubt it, because he's told her that they're, bastard born. So who else is there? There's his daughter, which he's talked about before in the past, so that's no spoiler. It's his daughter that's there. She's Baratheon. And then you have Robert's bastards. Do they know about Gendry? Did she see him in the flames or anything like that? I don't know if they reported that or anything like that. I don't know if she did or not, because she's talking about them. But she's saying she has to go somewhere, and when she'll understand when she gets back, and he reluctantly lets her go. It's like I said before, I think they could have tied that into whatever she's getting to, that whole scene, into one episode, and not had that in there and focused on something else. Dany. Well, Dany, you see Dany up there, Daenerys. She's up there. She's bargaining to get the Unsullied. She tells him, all right, give me the Unsullied. He's like, you ain't got enough money, but you got a nice little curve in your ass, which is true. She does have a nice curve in her ass, especially for a British chick. You know what I mean? But she's got a nice little curve in her ass, so give him to a special price. So she's like, all right, I'll give you one of my dragons. He's like, I'll take the biggest one. After she, they do a little porn stars thing back and forth. Dany seems like she makes out, and he's like, send in, I need this chick too. Melisandre, I think her name is. She's like, give me her, I'll take her for a gift. He gives her. And then you find out what Valalul Margulis means, all men must die, which, you heard Arya say in the Faceless Men thing. So that's what that means, all men must die. And then she says a little hot line, yes, but we're not men. So that's what goes on with Dany. Her people's beef with her, but then she has to check him and tell him, listen, don't you be talking to me like that in front of people we don't know. I'm the queen, period. And that's it. Or you're going to have to go find somebody else to roll with. And they take that and they eat that like they have to, because bottom line, they're old men, old sellswords. And even though these guys were great in their time has kind of looked like it's kind of passed them by. Because if Jaime's time has slowed him down and he's younger than them, and how good can these men possibly be? But they claim that they're so good and this, that, and the other, but who knows? So that's that. Tyrion, they have the small council meeting. Oh, they have this little chairs thing. You could see how Tywin loves his daughter. He lets her put a chair right next to him, and she's proud to do it. He's proud to have her there. Tyrion, still, even though Tyrion, they don't like him, and he's the lowest of the Lannister, he's still a Lannister. And that's it. And he don't have to sit next to the other people in the small council. So he's allowed to pull his chair to the side. He gets demoted from his hand to the king. Now he's master of a coin, which basically is just a little bank over there. And that's it. And he's got to tend to the money and stuff like that. And it's kind of beneath him for his thing, but at least they're giving him something. And which shows that they do love the guy, kind of. Even though they don't, they do, because they're not treating him like shit. They're giving him a job and stuff like that still has meaning on the small council. And they could have just stuck him in a dungeon like other families does and act like he's not there, but they don't treat him like that because he's still a Lannister. And that's it. So then he gives this boy a gift, and this boy must be hung like me because he wets these chicks up and then doesn't even have to pay him. And Tyrion, he's supposed to be well hung too, from the first season and everything else. He says the God's giving him one blessing, and and he had got to pay. And these chicks was like, nah, and it was four of them. This is his first time out, so he was doing, everything that those puppets were doing in Team America. If you seen that, he must have did it all, everything. And he wet them up, and they had to get the wine out and start drinking and talking about that, because that's what they need to know about that story straight up. So you had that went down. That's what went down there. Anything else over there? Not really too much there. I guess that we get to Theon now. Now Theon, I wish they would have, instead of doing all those little scenes, just focused more on his escape, which was great. The great part was you see him get chased down. The dude cuts off to the left. He thinks he's getting away. He hits him with the mace in the chest. And I've seen a lot of movies where people get hit with mace, but usually when they get hit with the mace, with the spikes, they're dead right off the bat, and that's it. I like the fact that this dude lost his breath. They whacked him right in his chest, and that was phenomenal. I love that. In fact, I think it's funny when people lose their breath anyway. They get hit like that. We used to play a game, open chest, back in Queens and stuff like that when I was young. So it reminds me of that, the way he was laid out there like that. So they do that, and then all of a sudden, these dudes come while he's about to get poked open. They about to run him. They about to prison style him. You know what I mean? And they got his ass out. And before they could do it, these dudes catch arrows from this dude in the back, and the guy walks over to him. And before he shoots an arrow in his face, he goes, "You little bastard!" And then the guy shoots an arrow right in his face. And he's the little bastard, shoots an arrow right in his face. And then he gets Theon, and then he says his words to Theon. He says, "Come on, we got a long way to go to get to your sister. Winter is coming." Winter is coming. The Stark's words, and Theon murdered Stark's children. Allegedly, that's what everyone thinks. And the Stark man is saving them. That's a little weird there. So I don't know how that's going down and stuff like that. Why would a Stark man save him? Allegedly, if he is a Stark man, but he's saying the Stark words. So that's where we get there. And then they take off. We'll see where that goes and stuff like that. And then we get to, I guess, the part that was, the coup de grace, the biggest part of Jaime and Brienne. And the funny thing is, you see Brienne telling Jaime, "Listen, son, I heard you was nice, but, you was kind of slow. You must be getting old there, son." And Jaime's trying to defend himself like, "Listen, I ain't got no food. I've been locked up for over a year. My hands are tied." Trying to say anything to make him say. And she's like, "Hey, you a little slow there, son. You may have had a step back in the day, but right now, you kind of beat up. And I took you pretty easy. In fact, I was wiping you with one hand, and smacking you in the ass like a little girl. Like I'm supposed to be." And so they go through that, and then he tells her, "Listen, shorty, listen. These cats right here, they gonna get up in you. They gonna rape that. This is what they do. You know what I mean?" So she's like, "I ain't going for that." And he's like, "Yo, they'll knock your teeth down your throat." And she's like, "You think I really give a fuck about my teeth on my night?" And he's like, "No, but it is what it is. Just take it. Close your eyes. Think it's Renly. Think it's somebody. Think sweet thoughts, and just get it over with." And she's like, "Well, what would you do?" And he's like, "If it was me, I'd tell him to kill me straight up, because that's the way I get down." So he gets over there, and then the dudes, the Bolton men, they grab her up and like, "Listen, you guys get it ready, wet that, get that a little wet, and I'm come finish that off in the back." So then Jaime comes up with a scheme to save her. Like, why he give a fuck, I don't know, but all of a sudden he care. And then he's like, "Listen, this chick is, her father's the Sapphire Island she's from. And while she's from the side, she's got mad dough, and he pay her dumb dough to get back. So why would you do a thing like that? Listen, this is a big bitch, and her weight in sapphires is gonna hook you up. You know what I mean?" And then the dude was like, "Shit, bring that bitch back. She's got some sapphires and all this." So then, yeah, I'll take that dough. I'll take that. You know what I mean? But then Jaime talks to him a little snobby. And these dudes is Northmen and all that, and he's talking, what a sapphire is, that's the blue gemstone. This dude taking offense to this. So then Jaime's like, "Listen, my dad is this, my dad is that." And this dude's like, "Listen, man, you always talk, you talking about your father way too much. Every time it's always my father, my father. You're going to stand on your own too. What do you do to stand on your own?" This is basically what this cat's saying to her. So then he's like, gas Jamie's like, oh, let me out, let me get this. He's like, oh, you want some pheasant? You want some quail? You want some whatever, some bird? I got some for you. Jamie's like, yes, this is good. We got this. Looks at Brienne, gives a little wink and all that. After he gives it a wink and everything else, they grab this dude, knock him to his knees, stick his hands out and say, listen, man, put that knife right to his neck and say, you best to watch what you say and how you talk to people. Because your pops ain't here right now. Basically saying, listen, we supposed to capture your ass, but they don't know. I can do whatever I want to you right now, and nobody knows because this is just me and you. So whatever you thinking about your pops or whatever coming to save you, it ain't got to be. Don't think it can happen because anything can happen to you, son. You in the streets or the woods with me right now. And don't be talking to me snobby. Don't be talking down. Don't be trying to use your pop's name and think that's going to carry weight here. Don't carry nothing. And Jamie, he's like, yo, you know what? Besides that, here, take this with your woof. And take this dude's hand right off. And that's how it ends, with this dude's hand off. Now, Jamie, even though he got his ass kicked by Brienne, his whole identity, everything he's got is based on his fighting hand, his right hand, his sword hand. And he has it no more. So, now, it's like, Tyrion said it before. He said, when he was talking to Jon Snow, he said, my brother is great with a sword. My sister was queen at 18. What can I do to bring glory to my house? I read books. I use my mind. So now what's Jamie going to do to bring glory to his house? He's not that smart. All he got is really just holding down the sword. And now, unless he can hold it in his left hand, which I've seen no evidence that he could, he really has no identity. And so it's going to be rough going for Jamie. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, so it's like I said, that's going to be the end of this. I got to talk a little bit about some spoilers. But before I do, I'd like to say thanks again for anyone subscribing. And, this is TonyTeflon, House Teflon. And if you know my email, TonyTeflon1, the number 1, and at gmail.com, hit me up. If you want to send me a House Teflon symbol, sigil, I was thinking something like, the puppet strings controlling holding the world. Marionette strings like the Godfather attached to the world. And House on the top, Teflon on the bottom. Because that's what my words are. We pull strings. And that's it, a House Teflon. We pull the strings of House Teflon. So if someone does that for me, I will post it. Not only will I post it, I'll make up a t-shirt and I'll send it to you, homie. That's how I get down. So if anyone want to do a House Teflon sigil, get that done. Now let me do these spoilers, not that much, but I got some things from the book. So if you didn't read the books, turn it off now. I'll catch you next week. Peace. Alright. Now, this is for the spoiler chapter, right? Basically, it's like I said, I was wondering how they were going to do this. They took out the Brave Companions. No Zolo the Fat, no Varg. Alright? I was wondering how they were going to do it, because obviously we know those are the people who really captured Jamie and cut off his hand and stuff. And they're from, like, with the Free Cities and stuff like that. So I was wondering how they were going to do it, cutting these people out and stuff like that. And they did cut them out. And I thought it wasn't bad. I thought it went well. And no problem with that change right there. I would have liked to see those characters, but these guys doing that, there's no big deal. That's a good adaptation to me. I thought they did a good job at it. And no problem with that whatsoever. That's basically it. Well, I do like to say they use a lot of lines from the book, which, hey, if you stick to the script, and I say this about superhero movies all the time. Stan Lee wrote it. You can't improve on it. Just stick to what he did, and it'll be fine. Stick to what George R.R. Martin did, and you'll be fine. And this proves it right here. It's fine when a lot of lines were from the book, and it's fine. And it came out great. Overall, I liked the episode. It was cool. That's all I'm going to really say about it. That's not really too much of a spoiler. So if you did accidentally watch it, that's all I'm going to say. Nothing else big. But that it wasn't the people. They had a whole other company that cut off Jamie's hand. And they got rid of him. They were called the Brave Companions. And they got rid of him and they had the Bolton men do it. Saves budget, saves people, saves casting of characters. I understand. Alright, this is TonyTeflon, the Don of House Teflon. We pull the strings. Make me a sigil, I'll make a t-shirt, send email to me, and we all good, baby. Alright? Peace.